Good evening. Today is May 1st. Some people call that May Day. Well, when I think of May Day, let me fix that up a little bit. When I think of May Day, I think of Mayday, 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 we're going down. I'm thinking like that. Well, if you didn't know, that word is a universal word for danger. Back in 1927, that French word for Mayday, at least that's how Southerners say French words, Mayday, means help me. Literally what it means, help me. So that got me thinking, well, I know there's times in the Bible people have cried out for help. So if you'll look at Psalms 34, verse 17, and I've got several scriptures, so y'all just bear with me. Psalms 34, 17. When the righteous cry for help, the Lord hears and delivers them out of all their troubles. So like it says, delivers them out of all the troubles. So do you know it's illegal to call Mayday, Mayday, Mayday when you're not in trouble? So if we're going to call out Mayday, there better be something wrong with us. And a lot of times there is, guys. So let's go ahead and read verse 18 of the same opening. The Lord is near the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. So sometimes we're brokenhearted. Let's go over to Psalms 55, 22. Psalms 55, 22 says, cast your burden on the Lord and he will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved. Sometimes we're burdened down. Let's go to Psalm 147, 3. At least the Psalms I try to do in increasing order. Psalms 147, 3. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. And it's not just in the Old Testament, not just in Psalms. Let's go over to Matthew chapter 11. And we're going to hit this verse twice for two different reasons. Chapter 11, verse 28. Come to me all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. So like we've been through brokenhearted, we've been burdened. We're broken down sometimes. We've got things that weigh on us. Let's look at 1 Peter 5, verse 7. Casting all your anxieties on him because he cares for you. So it's the real world, guys. We're brokenhearted sometimes. We're weighed down. We've got anxieties. There's things that are on our hearts. But all of these are talking either, some of those are from David, who was after God's own heart. These are talking to other Christians. These aren't sins. These are things that people really go through. So I think sometimes we shy away from those. We're like, don't murder and don't kill. Well, yeah, those are sins. But how do we live with being burdened and heavy laden and have anxiety? That's going to happen to us. And if we don't talk about them, if we let other things in the world fill in, well, that's where the sin comes in. So we've got to be able to work as the church and let God take some of these too. Because if we look back at Matthew 11, 28, the second part of that says, if you labor and are heavy laden, but it says, come to me and I'll give you rest. Verse 29, take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I'm gentle and lowly in heart. You will find rest for your souls. My yoke is easy, my burden is light. Let's look at Philippians 4, verses 6 and 7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. We've got to be willing to give it to God and let him have it. Let him take it. He can handle it. It says, let's swap yokes. Take on the things that he's asked us to do and don't worry about things of the world. Give it to God. And lastly, I want us to look at 2 Corinthians chapter 1. Let's talk about verses 3 and 4 for a moment. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our afflictions, so that we may be able to comfort those who are in any affliction with the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God. We've gone through as a people and as individuals things that maybe you can help somebody else with. And since you've come through that and maintained being a Christian, and you've had a mountain and you've had valleys in your life, there's times when you can help somebody else and help them do the same things you did, because I'm sure you gave it to God too, and you come through the other side. So I just want to mention that if you're brokenhearted tonight, if you've got burdens in your life, if you've got anxieties, and I bet at some point in your life you either have or you do now, I know God's more than happy to talk to you about them, and so are we. So if we can talk to you tonight about becoming a Christian and taking the ultimate burden off of you of your sin, or even if you are a Christian and you're struggling, we'd love to talk to you about it tonight. If we can help you in any way, please come forward as we stand and sing.